every way, Zack Snyder's Justice League was changed. By now, we all know Justice League's journey to the big screen was more turbulent than the waters over Atlantis. After the disappointing reaction to Batman v Superman, Warner Brothers started overhauling the tentpole pick of the DCEU, even going so far as to bring in Joss Whedon to rewrite and reshoot a huge chunk of it. Did the changes help? Well, if the film's underwhelming $96 million opening is any indication, not really. But we'll never really know without seeing director Zack Snyder's original cut, which Warner Brothers is probably going to keep buried in an unmarked grave in Kansas for the rest of eternity. But thanks to some expert internet sleuthing, we can start to get a good idea of Snyder's original vision for the film. Fans have been cobbling together all the ways the film changed since Whedon took the reins, and we're breaking down the big ones right now, so obviously, spoiler, 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 spoilers. Spoilers. First off, you may have noticed that Justice League was a lean and mean 1 hour and 59 minutes, pretty trim for your average super team blockbuster, and that's because a lot of stuff was completely cut out, particularly stuff concerning two of the newest members of the team, Aquaman and Cyborg. Apparently, there were entire scenes with Willem Dafoe as Vulko, the science officer of Atlantis, that got dropped, as well as scenes of Victor Stone playing football in his pre-Cyborg days. According to sources, Dafoe's scenes were cut mostly for time, but the Cyborg scenes were dropped in an attempt to completely reshape the character. Warner Brothers felt he was way too dark in Snyder's interpretation, and so Whedon was tasked with lightening him up a bit. Now, those football scenes actually showed up in a bunch of Justice League's trailers, but they weren't the only things to get axed between the trailer and the release of the final film. Luckily, Twitter user Uber Kryptonian went through and pulled all of them. Highlights include an alternate meeting scene between Bruce Wayne and Aquaman featuring a significantly more angsty Jason Momoa, those clips of a pre-accident Cyborg, Batman telling Cyborg that Batman is only real when it's useful, Aquaman swimming through the ruins of Atlantis, a voiceover of Steppenwolf saying no protectors here, no lanterns, which is, of course, a reference to the Green Lantern, the Flash breaking a window with his finger, and a ton of action scenes and a lot of epic superhero poses, just to name a few. What do these scenes tell us about Zack Snyder's Justice League cut? Not a lot, but it does confirm that the Joss Whedon reshoots were a little more extensive than Warner Brothers originally let on. WordPress user Haroon Sharif claims that he has seen Zack Snyder's cut, and he went into a lot of detail into what Snyder's Justice League would have looked like. According to Sharif, in Snyder's cut, Steppenwolf's mother, Hegra's essence, is trapped inside the mother box, and the only way to free her is to bring the boxes together. Also, at the end of the film, Steppenwolf is confronted and killed on the planet Apocalypse by his uncle, who is, you guessed it, famed DC villain Darkseid. Say what? That's nuts. And that's not the only reported change in Snyder's cut. We were also apparently going to see a few scenes between Victor Stone and his mother, as well as a scene showing the accident that led to Victor becoming a weird angsty robot, which once again was just way too dark for Joss. There was also a reported sequence where Clark visits his home after being resurrected and nearly uses his heat vision to mow down a group of civilians until Ma Kent steps in and gives him the Man of Steel, picture the world as an island speech to calm him down. Also in Snyder's cut, Bruce Wayne is apparently racked by guilt for all of the collateral damage he caused in the Batman v Superman fight, and it's his goal to die in battle to make up for it, which is probably the most Zack Snyder-y thing we've ever heard. Now, while these snippets are unconfirmed, some of Sharif's accounts are corroborated by the unused trailer footage, like the shots of the pre-accident Victor Stone, clips from a grittier alternate Aquaman and Bruce Wayne first meeting, and the scene where the Flash smashes his finger through a window. And much like Bruce Wayne and Wonder Woman's weird romantic chemistry, there might be something there. So there you have it. All of this information together gives us a pretty good idea of what Zack Snyder's cut looked like. Of course, Snyder's take had a lot more in common with the gritty and dark Batman v Superman and Man of Steel films than Joss Whedon's lighter take. Now, the original cut would have been an hour longer, but at least we would have been spared having to see Superman's digitally removed mustache. But what do you folks think? Do you want to see Zack Snyder's Justice League cut? Did you prefer Joss Whedon's more fun take on the DCEU? Let's discuss. And be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss one of our world-famous stories, theories, or breakdowns. If you're a YouTube viewer, mash that little bell and you'll get notified as soon as a new video pops. And Facebook viewers, give us a like, won't you? Because who doesn't like likes? I like to be liked. I'll admit it. Let's be friends.